Hello everyone, it's the fourth week in Ordinary Time and this is Extra-ordinary. Welcome back everyone to yet another episode of Extra-ordinary. Just a time in our week, just to start off our week really, looking ahead at what's happening in the church, what days we're celebrating, what saints, and how they relate to the theme of our week. And this week it's a very special theme, it's the theme of care. So we're going to be looking at care all throughout our live streams this week and looking at how each different saint relates to that theme. So we're going to be looking at the actual theme of care a bit later, but we'll start off by looking at what's happening in the week. So starting off on Tuesday, we have the Feast of the Presentation of the Lord, a very, very big feast day and very, very special day. This day we celebrate when Mary and Joseph brought Jesus to the temple to present Jesus before God. It was a custom to do this sort of practice back then, where if you had a newborn child, you take them to the temple and consecrate them to dedicate their life to God, to show them to God. And it's really, really nice and fits with the theme of care a lot, because it shows how much Mary and Joseph cared for Jesus, and it's an example for us really, because Mary and Joseph had Jesus' back. They cared for him, and we should care for each other. We should have each other's back and show that support to each other in our lives. Moving on to Thursday, we have the feast day of Saint Gilbert of Sempringham. Another very special day. Saint Gilbert at the time, when he was alive, was a priest in Sempringham. He was a parish priest and shared so much of what he had with the poor and the less fortunate in his parish. One day 7 women came up to him expressing interest in entering into religious life, which is basically where you become a monk or a nun or live in a monastery and dedicate your life to God. So he had 7 women from his parish come up to him and express interest in that sort of life. So he had a house built for them at the side of the church, and they stayed there, and they eventually formed what was known as the Gilbertines, a new religious order all of their own. However, this didn't last for too long, because in the Middle Ages, when Henry VIII started to dislike the Catholic Church, they sort of disappeared and died off, unfortunately. But one custom that not so much carried on, but they definitely was alive when the Gilbertines were around, was in each household they had something called the plate of the Lord Jesus. And it was a very special thing, because the best portion of the meal that they were having in the house would be put onto the plate and shared with the poor, which is so nice. It shows that care that we should be showing to the less fortunate, the people who haven't got as much as what we do, showing that care to them. So moving on to Friday, we have the feast day of Saint Agatha. Saint Agatha was a very special person. Throughout her life, she was treated very, very poorly by a lot of people who tried to make her abandon her faith, to forget about God and go with them, and which must have been very horrible for her, because they did this through very horrible means. They threw her in prison, starved her. They didn't provide her with any medical attention. This happened at different points throughout her life, which is very horrible. But one special thing that did happen was she prayed to God, and God sent help to Saint Agatha. She had a vision from Saint Peter, and he healed all of her wounds through his prayers. And that's such a nice sentiment to have in our mind, that our faith through God can heal us. We talk about healing a lot throughout this week. And one thing we think about also is our spiritual healing and the healing that we receive through God. And this is such a great example of that. And Saint Agatha actually has a prayer that you can find online. You just type in the prayer of Saint Agatha. And it's such a nice prayer. And it just reminds us of the healing that she experienced, that love and mercy of God that we all can experience in our own lives. So moving forward in our week, thinking about that theme of care, the care that all them saints have shown and that Mary and Joseph showed to Jesus, maybe think about what it means to you to be cared for. How does it feel when people care for you and look after you and love you? How does it feel? And maybe how can you show that to the people around you? And then also, what impact does that have on your life? How does it change your life when someone cares for you? And maybe try and show that care to someone else, to pass that care on. I've been James, and this has been Extra-ordinary. See you soon.